one thing I always try to tell younger mothers. Like, you have to, I'm not saying be irresponsible, I'm not saying don't take care of your child, but make out time for yourself.
Love
Budget
yourself
for yourself as well.
Yeah.
Love yourself, love on yourself. I mean, we're mothers. You're the one doing everything because of your
100%.
instinct. Who's doing that for you?
Hey mamas, welcome to this week's episode on Mums Next Door. As we know, Mums Next Door is a place where we share tales of tantrums, triumphs and tender moments. Guys, I am the host, Maria Chike, and on today's episode, guys, we have a special guest who's a brand influencer, she's a fashion designer, and she's a mother of one. And it is no one else but Opeoluwa. Hello, girl.
Hi,
Thank you so much for
Maria.
coming on board.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Good, good.
Yes.
So for the 1% out there that do not know who you are or might not know who you are, could you please introduce yourself?
Of course. My name is Opeoluwa. I am
Also known as Oopsie Daisy.
yes, my Instagram name is Upsy Daisy. And I am a mom of one. I am a fashion designer as well. I run a fashion brand. And to crown it all, I work for a giant fintech in Africa. A lot of people don't know that about me, but yes, that's what I do as 9 to 5. And I have all of these other things that I do on the side as well.
Guys, let's now go into the segments of Moms Next Door's show. So Opeoluwa, I'm just going to run you through. We do this thing called rapid fire questions before we go to the actual questions for the show.
Right.
So we have this cute little picture
It's
of
so
yours
cute.
here for you, which is a yes for any
Okay.
questions that I ask you and you can relate to.
Okay.
You just say yes. And we've got a no, thumbs down, so that's for you and you can
Okay.
keep that. So yeah, if you want to elaborate a little bit more on whatever I ask you, that is absolutely fine as well. Okay. So here we go. Did becoming a mum change the sort of friends that you had? No?
No, I don't think I have a lot of friends, first of all. And then becoming a mom didn't change much. So it didn't have to change my set of friends. My friends were still my friends. So
Good.
yeah, didn't.
Okay. Do you have a lot of mum friends?
Yes.
Okay, so it was quite relatable that
Actually,
everyone's busy.
At the time, no.
Okay.
Because I was, from my friends, I think I was probably one of the few to get married. First
Oh,
few to
nice.
get married.
Yeah.
And I think that I had, my daughter is probably older than most of my
All of
friends'
them.
kids.
Oh, bless.
Yes, so
Yeah.
they were moms at the time,
Mhm.
but we were still cool. We were still cool.
Perfect. Do you openly express your feelings with your child?
Oh yes,
Also, in
yes,
what way?
absolutely. I don't think I can help it, and I think is a thing that also makes her happy.
Good.
So I mean, showing love, showing expression is not a sign of weakness, right?
No,
so
100%.
I mean, I just do
It's
it
actually
anyway.
a huge sign of strength because the communication is there.
Precisely. So yes, every time, everywhere I go.
Awesome. Before you got pregnant, did you prepare yourself for motherhood?
That I don't know if it's a yes or a no, because there's really nothing that can prepare you for motherhood. I think that you always just have to arrive and then you mother.
Yeah.
And it comes, I mean, I think it's instinctive, because the motherhood, the instinct of the mother just comes with being a mother.
100%.
So there is really no preparing. Of course, maybe thinking about it and maybe putting your mind to it. But apart from that, I don't think anything can prepare you for that journey.
Motherhood.
There's always
Till
a
you
shock.
get there.
There's always
That is actually very true. That
There's
is
always
very
a shock,
true.
so,
Because
yeah.
everything's completely different to each, is tailored to each individual.
You know the way they say you are not able to. So the human mind is very visual. And then before something happens, you're probably thinking about it. This is how, like this set, I'm like, this is how this space is going to look. It's never like that.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah. Always.
Never. It can never ever. So no matter how you think about it, you visualize it, you fantasize about it.
It's just
always
never.
just different.
Everything in life, actually.
Precisely.
Everything.
Precisely.
Awesome. I actually really agree with that. So, next question. Did you ever become insecure after childbirth with your body?
Oh, no.
Good.
I don't think I'm an insecure person normally. And then after I had my child, I don't know, genes, luck, I don't know. I was never big or huge.
Good. Yeah.
I think that even at the time I was pregnant
You were
and
quite
going through
skinny.
going through the pregnancy, I was not so large. And then I remember that as soon as my child came out, and maybe that's the insecure part of me. So maybe I lied. Maybe I'm insecure. I don't know.
What happened?
But I remember that as soon as my baby came out, the first place I touched was my tummy. I'm like, oh my God.
Is it going to go flat immediately? Fail. It didn't.
But yeah, I don't.
How long did that take you? Sorry.
How long did what take me?
Your tummy to like obviously go back to almost normal.
Funny story. They wheeled me back into the room.
Oh,
I was laying down. My daughter had to be in the baby section, whatever they call.
Okay.
And then before the nurse came in, obviously they didn't have wrappers or anything.
Back then, yeah.
I had taken the sheets from the bed, the first sheets, the first layer of the way you have different layers.
Yeah.
I had taken one and I tied it on my tummy. I'm like, this tummy must
Oh my God, that is so laughable.
I mean, I was so conscious. I was really conscious.
Okay, but that's a personal conscious, not like
not
yeah.
I think I just wanted to prove a point. Like,
I think that's what every woman denies that because I was exactly the same. I was really waiting, like, I hope you go down. I hope you go down.
Yes.
But it wasn't for anyone. I wasn't trying to. What's the public gonna think if I don't snap back tummy wise?
No.
Yeah. I think mine took about 6 weeks.
Yeah. I think mine was maybe, I don't know, 3.
Oh, awesome. Nice. Yeah. I think it literally took exactly 6 weeks and my abs were back up and I was like, yeah, we're back in it. But yeah. Have you ever skipped out on something and blamed your kids?
That's a very interesting question. I never blame.
Good.
I think if I skip out on something, even if it's because of her, I never consciously say, oh, it's because of you, and then probably start to take it out on her. No.
Which would be an awful mother thing to do.
Yeah. So, no, I don't do that.
But you'd be surprised people do that.
Yeah, I can think about it in my head to say, oh, this is why I missed it.
Yeah.
And of course, I know this is why I missed it.
But
I probably will never react. To say, oh, it's because of you or anything.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I ask this question a lot. Do you want more kids?
I don't know how many people are watching this.
Everybody's watching this.
But I think that is conditional for me.
Okay, fair enough.
I always say if things are right or if this is that.
I support that.
If not,
what if it just happens?
If it just happens.
In whatever situation, whether things are great, whether things are funny, not right.
I think I'm too conscious for it to just happen.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So it probably would not just happen.
Okay.
Unless I'm determined and I'm like, okay, it's time.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I'm torn in between having more and not having more. I have just one. I mean.
Yeah. How old is she?
She's 11. She's going on 12.
Wow, she's a big girl.
Yeah. And then every time she's like, don't worry, you can have another child.
Yeah.
It's fine. I can deal with it. She told me that the last time. She's like, I can deal with it.
Like she has any
bless. But yeah.
How close are you guys?
Pretty close.
Good.
Pretty close.
Like your best friend? I really wanted a girl, by the way.
Yes. I wanted a boy.
Really?
Yes.
No, but I'm very content with my boy now. I love him. Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, it's I don't know for me.
But I think I totally agree with, when, how, situation of things in life, all of that does take into consideration, do I want another one? But naturally, yes. But obviously, like if things weren't great regarding whatever aspect in life, then maybe I'll just be conscious of not having another one. But if it happens, then that's it. Okay, great. So moving on to the reason why we're here, which is obviously mothers sharing experiences during pregnancies, motherhood in general, and raising up those sweet, cute little
They are
beauties.
so sweet.
But yeah. So we're going to go right into the questions. You are a teenage mother. Your daughter's a teenager.
Well, not preteen, because she's just 11.
11. But tell you what, they even act like adults at
I'm
11.
not looking forward to it, trust me.
Bless you. How does that make you feel?
Old? Maybe.
You're not. Have you
I
looked
know,
at yourself?
but I mean, I see her and I'm like, oh my God, she's so grown. I
Yes.
think that is mixed feelings and mixed emotions for me.
Okay.
She's big. She does all of this teenage stuff. And then
You're
I
like,
miss,
how?
yes, and then I miss
The
when
baby stage.
Yeah, I was having a conversation yesterday and I was telling my friend, so I heard her kids screaming in the background and she's like, oh my God, guys. And I'm like, better enjoy it
because soon you wouldn't hear
you'll miss
anything.
it. But yeah, it makes me feel accomplished in a kind of way as well.
Awesome. Good.
Because every time I hear, oh, you're raising an amazing daughter, you're raising an amazing girl, she's such a beautiful woman.
Good.
So all these things, of course, get to me.
Yeah.
But I think
And it makes you feel accomplished.
yes,
also.
it makes me.
Yeah.
It does make me feel accomplished. And yeah, I think it's a good feeling.
Awesome.
I think it's a good feeling. I think it's a fulfillment kind of feeling.
Yeah.
I feel fulfilled. I feel good. I feel
Good.
great.
As it
actually.
should be.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a positive
yeah.
thing to say
Yeah.
because honestly, I think I've said it previously on certain, conversations having with friends or whatnot. Before I had my child, it's like you're still yearning and yearning. What is it? What do I do with myself? What is you're trying to get to a highest goal in life? But honestly, he's literally the greatest achievement I would say I've ever accomplished in life. Just it's priceless. It's not
priceless.
something I can ever compare to, oh, I want this or I want that. And things have totally changed mentally for me, like as to how I, perceive life and what I want from life. I'm just happy. Like, when he smiles or when I look at him, I just get this fulfillment within me. And I'm just like, yes, life is perfect. But it's not. And then you did mention something regarding enjoy it whilst it lasts. During my pregnancy, everyone was like, don't buy a lot of stuff. These children, by the time you blink your eyes, they're 10 years old. I'm like, how?
Tell me about it.
Bruv, my son is literally turning 7. And I actually just missed when he was actually born, when he'd sleep 20 hours a day. And I'm just like looking at him. But yeah, they grow up so fast.
So fast.
Yeah.
It's always like you ask yourself, where did all the time go?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting journey.
I know, very. And I'm grateful for it. Yeah. So, what are the things you feel like mothers out there should actually know that maybe you didn't know or...
I think there are a lot of lessons, and then before I answer the question, kids are different. People are different. People
100%.
raise their kids differently. And then I try as much as possible not to judge anyone raising their kids their type of way. But there are certain things that you just wish that you knew before, having a baby, or you wish that you knew when your child was still a certain age.
Yeah.
And I was
Like what? Sorry.
So I was actually thinking about yesterday. I think I actually made a video about it where I said, when they grow up so fast, right? And then you want to buy
Like
the
drastically
whole world
fast.
for
Yeah.
them. And that's not your fault.
Mother instinct.
Exactly.
Love.
And I said in that video, I'm like, when my daughter was much younger, when she was a baby, everywhere I went, every store I went, every place, every trip I went, each time I entered a store, I'm like this, where's the children's section?
This will
Where's
look
the
cute.
children's section?
Yeah.
Oh, where's the baby section? And I ended up not buying anything for myself. I just
You forget.
neglect myself. And then I come back and I'm like, I got this loads of stuff. I'm not just one thing for myself. And at the end of the day, you beat yourself up, right?
Have you ever heard of this term, unconditional love?
I know.
That's what you were going through and still going through.
I know, but then again, you need to take care of yourself as well.
100%.
Because you can't pour from an empty cup,
100%.
right? So that's one thing I always try to tell younger mothers. Like, you have to, I'm not saying be irresponsible. I'm not saying don't take care of your child, but make out time for yourself.
Love
Budget for
yourself
yourself as well.
Yeah.
Love yourself. Love on yourself. I mean, we're mothers. You're the one doing everything because of your
100%.
instinct. Who is doing that for you?
Exactly.
If not you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing I say.
Because no one can really take care of you except
Exactly.
you.
And then I'm always like, enjoy the moment. And I think I've said that a number of times here already. Just enjoy the moment. I remember when I just had my daughter, I'm like, oh my God, I need this girl to grow up. I need her to sleep.
I'm in that
stage. And then I envied everybody that had older kids. You know, I'm like, these guys
the journey
are so
just
free.
never stopped. No, they're not. They're a different
free.
phase.
Exactly, it's just a different phase.
Yeah.
So just enjoy each phase. It's a journey
100%.
that probably never ends.
I hear that.
But yeah, just enjoy every phase of it, and then bask in it.
I hear that. That's very true. So next question. How do you balance the demands, obviously, that motherhood brings, and also having to balance your personal life and your work life, career life, personal life, family life, you're a wife, all of that? How do you balance it? I mean, motherhood is such a huge demand.
Yeah, it's a huge demand, and it's probably just trying to apportion your time. And you know, they always say that you can win everywhere. I don't believe you can win anywhere. I don't believe you can win everywhere.
I disagree with you. You can.
So again, it depends on how we say it, right?
Do you actually know women as superstars? Do you actually know we're like?
I know, but I think that what I try to be as realistic as possible.
True.
You can be everything to everybody at the same time.
100%.
I know women, we say we're superheroes, but
we are.
How?
We're magicians.
And I think, like I said, just sort of apportion your time, weigh your options as well. So I feel like I wear so many hats, and I have to like figure out how things will work here at home with my cat, with my child.
Do you have a cat?
With my child? No,
I know, but do you have a cat?
No. I don't. I'm not. Okay, my daughter likes dogs, but I'm not a fan of cats. Okay. And I am going to also emphasize the importance of a support system. I think that there is absolutely nothing that can measure up to a support system, 100%. Especially if you're, in this journey. I have a very strong one.
Awesome.
I don't take them for granted at all. And if you're watching this,
amazing.
Thank you guys. My parents are amazing. Like my journey is a very unique one.
Good.
So raising my daughter for me has just been a blessing.
Good.
With people around. So again, back to the question, it's just really dedication. Having a strong support system, because they're the ones that can fill up space for you when you're trying to be somewhere else. I have a very high flying career. So again, I'm dedicated to work.
To that, yeah.
I'm dedicated to home, trying to raise the best child.
Good.
And all of that. So yeah, I think my long and short answer would be a strong supportive system. A reliable, strong supportive system.
Awesome. Yeah. You touched on this right now, and I think in one of the episodes as well, I had a guest. She did really emphasize a lot on this whole, support system where, and she spoke about comparison as well. I could be watching you from the internet thinking, ooh, Opeoluwa, like, she's a great mother. She's there at home 24/7 with her kids, but she's also like really into her business. But they don't know behind the scenes, and then they might be judging a different person who doesn't have that huge support, and this one is lazy, that one, and it's just not the case. You just don't know what people deal with behind closed doors and how they're functioning. So yeah, I'm glad you emphasized on that, and it's great to have a good support system. I would say I'm quite blessed and thankful to God as well. My household, like, I do have such a great support system. So yeah, that's very important in motherhood. But for those out there as well who don't have that, you're doing your best. I do have two friends who I would never say they're struggling. I actually admire them. So I know you know yourself. So if you're watching this, I am very proud, and like I do admire what you do, because obviously your children are growing so amazingly, and it's just you single-handedly, financially, physically, mentally, everything. And you know, it gives that huge importance as a woman, and it gives you that, wow, I'm actually a queen. I'm doing all this by myself, regardless of zero support.
Yes.
So yeah, so obviously for people out there who don't have support, I'm sure you're smashing it, and we're all proud of you.
And I think, speaking of support as well, I know that a lot of mothers, especially mothers who are probably raising their children on their own, crave support or crave a community where they want to just have people to speak to safely and have a safe haven. And, you know, because of the importance of that, I also, you know, sort of thought about a community where women are able to just be themselves, draw strength from each other, draw inspiration from each other, and talk to each other. So I started, or maybe I haven't started, it's something, it's a project I'm working on.
Wow, we are actually working on this project.
Yes.
No, like a little motherhood community. That would be so awesome.
Precisely, just people coming together. And it's not going to be a project where it's maybe like an NGO where obviously it's probably like at the end of the day.
Mental help, you know, you might just want to talk.
You just want to talk.
Yeah. Ask for advice.
And just sit where you're comfortable. People can relate with the stories.
Yeah.
You understand your what you're going through. You understand your stories. You understand your journey.
You don't feel so left out, or
Precisely.
like a lot of people. What's the word? Or rather underestimate the essence of speaking out is huge. When you bottle things up and don't speak to people, and I think you did say you're not, you don't have a lot of friends. I can very much relate, but the few I have, I talk too much. They're tired of listening to me, but I like that because it helps me. I feel like if I have a situation or if I have some difficulties, I just want to talk about it. Because if I bottle it in, like, I'm just killing myself. So, you know, that sort of community for motherhood will be so great. So, yes, I'm behind you whenever you start. It'll be so great to, like, you know, help those out there who don't have that support system that we're talking about. Because 100% everyone needs support, especially this journey called motherhood is literally not easy at all.
Definitely.
Oh, proud of you.
Thank you.
So I was going to ask you, how do you approach difficult situations or conversations, topics, whatever you want to call it, with your child, seeing as she's growing up, she's 11? Do certain things come up and you're like, oof, how do I handle this?
Yes, I think a few times, because like you said, she's growing up, and we're just getting to that phase where she's asking a lot of questions and also trying to get into her space. So I think that most of the intrusion comes from me, because of course I want to know what's going on with her. And I want to get all the information I can get. And then when I ask certain questions, she's like, "Oh my God, that's embarrassing. You can't
I'm
be
your
asking
mother."
me that." And then I say, "Why is it embarrassing? Why don't you?
Confide in me.
I am your mother.
I'm your best friend."
And then she's like, "Oh no, that it's just a little weird having those conversations." So sometimes I try as much as possible to give her some space, or a safe space where she can
be herself before.
And I think that can be a bit tricky, because you also don't want to give too much liberty,
and then she just thinks you're not there.
Again, what I say about motherhood is we all don't know.
Honestly,
I don't know. You probably don't know.
I don't.
We're all just trying to be the best we can 100%. Be. No one has been here before. No one has passed through this phase before. So I pray a lot.
Good. Likewise.
I pray a lot.
That's good.
So sometimes when I'm being asked such questions and I don't know how to approach it, I give it time. Sometimes I pray. Like, God, how should I go about answering this question? You know,
you have some sense of
so that I have a sense of direction on how to answer it without being too hard on her, without being too serious, and
Yeah.
without being too relaxed about it, because it's probably not a very nice,
No, 100%.
place to
And
be.
kids of
But yeah,
nowadays are completely different as to, well, maybe our generation and stuff.
absolutely.
They're more advanced mentally in every way. So, like, once you let go or once you're too relaxed, they might just miss it.
And they know how to take advantage of that.
Manipulate motherhood, honestly.
They know how to do it.
And one thing
100%.
that's worked for me as well in regards to approach setting, I mean, my son's still very young, but, I do have a younger sister. I do have younger cousins. My family, we're very bonded.
Okay.
So we do have great relationships. So I'd take my younger cousins as examples. Like,
Right.
I try and think about my experience or the sort of relationship I had with my parents when I was much younger. And I wouldn't say they made mistakes at all, but, certain approaches that maybe as a child I didn't like. And I'm like, I don't want to do this with my children, or I approach it differently with my younger cousins. Because I've been there and now I'm growing, I feel like maybe approach, obviously not everything overly friendly, but knowing that I'm your friend, also your mother, or also your big cousin, but you can confide in me. And when we're doing playful or family bonding, bestie, that's all aside. And just have a childlike mind sometimes to be in their thinking and maybe their situation as well. I think that's worked with my approach to like my younger cousins or younger siblings here and there. So yeah, because like I said, not like my parents made mistakes, but having to learn differently as to how they treated us is probably a best.
And I think what I try to do as well is just put myself in her shoes.
100%.
Like, how would I feel? What reaction am I expecting? If I get this reaction, would it make sense, or would I like it? So yeah, I put myself in her shoes a lot.
Good. How do you approach setting boundaries or like discipline with your child? Whilst we're at that topic.
Yeah, it's tough. Because again, she's growing, and you don't want to be too strict. You don't want to be too lenient.
Yeah. So how do you do it? Tell us.
A lot of times, I go overboard.
Okay.
I know that I'm far away from being a perfect mom. I can go overboard.
That's fine. No one's perfect.
But I think that what I try to do as well is when I go overboard, I try to come back, like retrace my steps, and have a proper conversation, like a heart-to-heart conversation. Why did this happen? What went wrong? What were you thinking? What did you think was going to happen? If I just ask her like logical questions to sort of approach it. But like I said, sometimes I've lost it, and then I've just reacted. And I don't think that, as much as I think it's discipline, I also don't think that it feels good for her. Okay. Which is why sometimes I retrace. Sometimes I don't retrace. Sometimes I'm just like,
I'm
you
your
know
mother.
what,
That's it.
deal with it. But yeah, again, going back to my usual as per, I can just say a word of prayer, like, God, how should I handle this? Or what should I do? Or how should I go about this? And in times I don't know how to, I just kind of cool down. I just give it time. And then by the time I come back, somehow,
you figure it
magically,
out.
I just figure it out. So yeah,
awesome.
That's really it.
Do you ever feel some sort of mom guilt or like feeling of like inadequacy? Like,
of course.
Really? How do you handle it?
All the time. I think that I feel that a lot of times. And then I think it comes with comparison. Like when we're
100%.
Talking about looking at other moms
and how they're handling life. Yeah.
This person is so perfect, and making waffles and
oh my God, let's not even go with that whole perfect home mother thing where 4 a.m. they're making waffles and pancakes and then they bathe the children and then they go to work and with all this content. That does not happen. They do all that in 2 days and then post.
So yeah, I do feel that way. But I think that what happens most times, the way I deal with it is I just tell myself, you're doing all that you can right now.
100%.
And this child is not turning out badly.
And that's what works in your household.
I didn't breastfeed for too long. Wow. And that was because I wasn't lactating well.
Fair enough.
So I got back from the US and then I went straight back to work.
Oh, wow.
So the stress, the everything,
work,
I think
everything.
that just made it worse for me.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't
Your
just
supply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember before I had my child, I was like, oh, I'm going
2
to have
years, 1 year. You and me are the same sister.
Exclusive.
Don't worry, we're on the same. And you know what? It's like every single episode so far that we've had, every single mother that I've spoken to or with, almost every woman has that supply pressure. Like breast milk supply is gold.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. So if you're blessed enough and it flows like River Jordan, like lucky you. Because I think a lot of, I had the same issue before pregnancy. I wanted everything perfect. You know, I said, during breastfeeding, I want to probably do it for about 2 years. Bruv, we stopped about 5 months and that was it. So yeah.
Yeah, so I felt guilty. I felt like I wasn't doing something right. I felt like everything was wrong. But then, I mean, looking at her now, I'm like,
she's perfect.
She's perfect.
Good.
There's nothing wrong with her. So if you're in that space and you're thinking, you have the mom guilt and you're thinking, oh, I should do it this way, that way. No, you're doing the best that you can. And you're the best mom. You're the best mom for your child.
Good. Tell them. They need to know. So, obviously, if you want to, how did your pregnancy go? Did you have a smooth pregnancy? Was it, I'm struggling?
I think my pregnancy was smooth.
You and me are the same.
I think my pregnancy was smooth. And I don't know if it had to do with age.
Okay.
Because I know that some people
young,
say that. Yeah, I know that some people say that. But it was smooth. I didn't find out I was pregnant until I was, I think, like 13 weeks.
Wow, so almost 2 months.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
No,
and
3 months.
Yeah. Wow. I was just over 3 months.
So you didn't see your period or anything?
So I didn't see my period. I mean, I don't know. I think I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did I see my? I wasn't just paying attention. And then at some point I started to feel bloated. So I was like, oh, okay.
And that's literally that stage. That first trimester is, bloating is.
So I think it was smooth. I wasn't ill. I didn't have any of those things. I think that the only thing that I had then was having to store saliva in my mouth.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, some people have
disgusting.
that. Yeah. Bless.
So I used to have bitter cola in my mouth every single time.
Yeah.
I threw up though, all through.
Okay, but it wasn't like
I think that even the day I wasn't sick, but I would throw up every meal I have.
Wow.
Every meal I had. That's probably why I wasn't big as well. Yeah. But I wasn't sick.
Whatever
like I would feel better from throwing up. So I look forward to
so once I eat, so you can.
Yeah. So I feel relaxed.
Yeah.
I think up until my
due date,
40th week.
Okay.
I still was throwing up, but every other thing was great. I was going to work.
Nice.
I was wearing my normal clothes.
So your belly wasn't even that big?
No, I was wearing my normal clothes.
I
was wearing my heels. I remember my dad telling my mom, you have to tell her to stop wearing heels.
And you and me are the same. They had to hide my heels at some point. I was wearing it till like I was 7 months pregnant. And I loved it.
Yeah, but I mean, I was good. I was good all through.
Good, awesome.
And then I think that the labor, everything went well.
The process of childbirth was good for you?
I think it was.
You were so blessed.
I think it was. I took the epidural.
Okay.
But I remember before I got to the hospital, I was with my brother at the time, and then I was telling my brother's wife, my sister, I'm like, when we get to the hospital, I don't want no epidural. I'm going to be fine.
Yes, sister.
I'm a Hebrew woman.
Yeah, of course you are.
And I'm going to be fine. So we got to the hospital, and then the doctor was asking me, okay, so when do you want her to? So she was asking my sister-in-law, when do you want her to get the epidural? And then I'm like, no. Oh, I'm good.
Doing that, yeah.
And then my sister-in-law was like, oh, please, when she's ready, I'm going to call you guys.
Yeah. And then when the pain's kicked in, you're like,
I think I was 2 centimeters. I'm like, where's the doctor?
There. Yeah.
It was crazy. And then I got that. So, I mean, because I got early, it wore off early.
Good. Yeah, they always say that it's best.
I was good.
Yeah.
Yes, that was good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the very little I do know of, because I understand you don't show your daughter a lot on Instagram, which is great, but the little I know of you as a mother, you're doing great.
Thank you.
You're smashing it.
Thank you.
And that's why you're here.
I think you're doing great too.
I just started.
I know.
I need to breathe. I'm tired. No, I'm not tired.
You'll be fine.
Thank you so much. So we do have this thing we do on every episode where you personally choose a mummy quote.
Okay.
Obviously surrounding motherhood, because that's why we're here. But something personal to you. It could be your own quote. It could be something you live by as a mother, or it could be a famous quote, another person's quote. We're going to scribble it down on a paper, and we're going to read it out to the camera.
Okay.
So we've managed to scribble stuff down that mean the most to us. So I'm going to let Opeoluwa start reading and then show it to the camera.
Okay. Mine goes, nothing can ever be compared to the love a mother has for her child.
Absolutely. 100%. I love that. Do you want to show it to the camera?
Yes.
Oh, you have a better writing than I do.
Do I?
Yeah. Mine goes, being a mother means that your heart is no longer yours. It wanders wherever your children go.
Aww.
But I wrote do. I do want to thank you a lot, Opeoluwa. I'm just not going to call you that. I'm going to call you Oopsie Daisy. I actually know that song, Chipmunk.
Yes.
Oopsie Daisy.
Oh yes,
So
the
I
name is from
love it.
there.
Really? How did I even think of that? That's why I like your name a lot.
Really,
But yeah, well, that's not her name. That's her Instagram name. So thank you so much, honestly. We do appreciate your presence here, and thank you for sharing your insights and experiences as a great mom that you are. So just keep being a good mom and keep being you. You're smashing it.
Thank you.
Thank you once again.
And once the project is completed, I think it should be completed soon.
100%.
I mean, it'll be
I
nice
do want to be a part of your community.
Please.
So we can welcome a lot more people who are struggling as well.
Yes,
I'd love that.
will.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria.
So guys, we have come to the end of this week's episode, and yes, thank you. Cheers to motherhood, and cheers to being great mothers.